All right, welcome back. Another episode of Call of the Nether Deep Cuts, episode 21. We're doing another one shot. So, last episode that we had left off, the party of Morgen, Saeryn, Ludo, and their newly acquainted mercenary pal Mox delved into the Betrayer's Rise, following the other rival party in this mystery chasing the Jewel of Three Prayers. And before that, they had experienced a flashback of some time in the Calamity where, the heroes of the current day party witnessed something that happened 1,000 years ago in the flashback. Just saying it, I did a month before Calamity Downfall. Come at me, Brendan Lee Mulligan. Anyway, but before we get back into what happens next in the Betrayer Rise, we have to rewind once more to the night where our missing party member, Aljin, the Wave Rider, Water Ashari, had decided to leave his party on a last second chase to go find this magical lotus flower he had heard could potentially cure his grandmother. For tonight's session, I will throw it to the party to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Hunter, and I normally play Morgen Megen. In today's Netherdeep Cuts, I shall be playing an Earth Ashari druid by the name of Dudu Podoa, a devout follower of Corellon who holds the ideals of Corellon very close and dear to their heart, the performances of art, the performances of war, and beauty.
I am Aaron. Tonight, I will be the DMing this session. I'll also be portraying Aljin, the Water Ashari.
And my name is Matt, and I usually play Saeryn Conundrum, but tonight I'm going to be playing Trixie, a very excited spring Eladrin.
And I am Jasili, who is normally the DM, but tonight I am playing what used to be an NPC, but I'm going to be playing Ciaran, the drunken red-haired bastard Water Ashari. We'll ease into the voice. So, yeah, I forgot to mention at the top of the episode, we're doing a little topsy-turvy guest DMing. Doing a little bit of more collaborative story building. So what had happened was the night after Aljin had left, with Ciaran out of Bazzoxan, they decided to head back to Jigao to find some fast means of travel. And, well, I think I'll leave it to the new DM to say what happens next.
On that night, Aljin left his found family or his party with a very heavy heart to go help his grandmother. He grabbed Ciaran out of the jail cell that he was being held in, and they took the long walk from Bazzoxan to Jigao. This travel took a few days, say 7, I think it was, to finally get there. About a week to finally get there, where they found a goblin named Kolbukaz, who found a way, had a way to teleport them to the outskirts of things that are blanking on me right now. This is I'm having a hard time on recaps here, guys.
Yeah, I'm sad.
Where they at now? Help me out here.
So
where are they at now? They're at Ank'Harel.
Oh yeah, Ank'Harel. Yeah.
I apologize.
In the desert of
Ank'Harel.
Marquet.
Yeah, the desert Marquet. I'm like sitting there staring at things. Things are being real slow right now. I am certainly apologizing for this. They are here on the outskirts of the city. They make their way to a small, sort of a militant encampment, where they're looking for any information they could find to locate where this lotus flower would be. Sort of peering around at this point, I will throw it to I would say the other two, Dudu or Trixie, as you're coming up into this encampment from Ank'Harel, what is the conversation? What is the talk? Is there anything that you two, as you're sort of walking up, are doing?
So, Trixie, have you been this way before?
But I've been most ways. I mean, I had to get to Ank'Harel somehow. But
Well,
yeah, I've been through the desert quite a few times.
I find a strange comfort in the desert. It feels like home, but not home. Something so close, yet so distant. What do you say we, head on over?
Oh yeah, the faster we get there, the better.
At this point, I think the argument of an Aljin and a Ciaran can be heard. It's Aljin sort of looking around, going, "Well, where do you think we could find? I mean, it's a big desert. There's a lotus flower we're supposed to find, and we don't know anywhere and whereabouts. Uh, where do we even start here? You were here before, weren't you, or were you?"
Yeah, aye, lad. Only you could somehow drag me halfway across the world looking for a single bloody flower in the blooming desert.
Well, I mean, if it helps my grandmother, and I mean, with her still around, the Ashari will still probably be the Water Ashari will probably be, better off. I mean, she's still the elder at this point.
Aye, well, as you said, we are Charlie, and I suppose you do got a duty to your kin. But, lad, this is a rough, brutal desert. This land is stricken, cursed by the gods back in the calamity. Ank'Harel, the jewel of hope, they call it. It's the only water and oasis in hundreds of miles. That's why I was able to find work here before, laddie, but my leaving last time wasn't on the best of conditions. But I think there's maybe they had an outpost up here ahead where they would commonly have contracted work from. Maybe we could find some resources there.
All right, let's take a look. As Aljin and Ciaran walk up to the encampment, I think it would be like one of those meetings where it both happens at one time. The conversation. Let's do a roll. Dudu, can you give me a perception check real fast, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Perception check in.
Hell yeah! And actually, what do your characters look like? What do Ciaran and Aljin see when we get there?
Yeah. So as you're walking up, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Dudu.
I was gonna say it was a low roll. I rolled a 3 for a total of 11.
Okay.
I mean, I love my wisdom spellcasters. But yeah, so as far as a description goes for Dudu, Dudu stands tall, sleek, and slender. He wears a tiara of the crescent moon, the oldest symbol known to the god of Corellon. They dress in an androgynous manner, preferring all the beauty and the colors that attract their attention. A serene air of peace blows forth, waving their shining locks of golden hair into the wind. He maintains aspects of his homeland, however, one of the Earth tribe from the town of Terra. Small rocks carved into identifiable features might clue you in on this if you are familiar with any of the Ashari.
Amazing. How about Trixie?
Trixie's below average height, about 5'1", and is wearing what looks to be what looks like should be very heavy armor, and is basically just kind of jumping around in it without really paying much attention to how heavy it looks. She has red hair, fairly light skin, despite having apparently spent a lot of time in the desert. And there just seems to be this sense of a spring rain or a blooming flower about her while she runs around, basically just like covering their trail behind them with the longbow, just waving it back and forth to rub it out on the sand.
Amazing. What? Oh, actually, I have to ask Ciaran this as Dudu and Trixie come walking up. What? I don't know if we've gotten. Do we get a good description of Ciaran last time? We knew his.
Yeah, when Ciaran
a good
first
one?
came out of that,
Ciaran,
yeah,
sorry.
it's the hard IRC,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense. But anyway, it's like a wild shock of red hair, human, pretty, tall, pretty lean, muscular build, definitely. The token has him at a little pale, but he's definitely been more in the sun and got more of a darker tan on him. That has like a little bit since faded from his time in Bazazan. He's wearing kind of reverted back to a natural like sea swept like neutral cool tone like cloth spun tunic, whereas like it's like a hempen rope like belt tied around the waist and keeping like trousers of like a similar but slightly off color, like a more of like a darker sea color. And at his side he has like a big old tankard that he's been carrying that every now and then he seems to be able to say a keyword and it fills up with this like blood red looking wine that's pretty strong. And he he looks pretty pissed off and just like more just that like bloodshot eye, burnt red nose. He hits the sauce pretty hard.
Yeah. And with the 8 perception check by Dudu, what this conversation as you're walking up to these two is loud, and at least half of it is loud. The one with the red hair seems to have a little louder statement when he's making. But looking at them as you come through, you realize that they are both in Ashari, Water Ashari garb. One with the red hair, then you have the other one with this blue, Aljin with this blue, like almost seafoam hair with a little goatee, like a white traveling cloak with this white and blue-green accents on the rest of his clothing. Looking a little beat up, a little worse for wear at this moment. But the key terms that pop out that seem to have grabbed your attention was, obviously Ashari and looking for a flower. That sort of pop out to you as the two groups sort of make like a walk by, heading sort of the same way, sort of getting to the same location.
I think Dudu would hustle up to them and can kind of catch up to as much as possible and introduce themselves. Just try and catch their attention really quick. And hello there.
Well, hello. How we doing?
Hi. My name is Dudu Podoa. I see you are Ashari. Yes, Water Ashari.
That point, Aljin sort of like looks at him, and that he hasn't done his normal, cloaking himself, and he's just like, yeah, we are Ashari, Water Ashari. Is there? He looks over at Ciaran, Ciaran is like, is this what you mean? Like, people need help through the desert, they're gonna ask for like Asharis to help?
And you see Ciaran just spits on the ground. He says, "Curse be Gao! I can't be rid of these bloody Ashari nowadays. Just your luck, huh? For us to run into more of our kin.
That's when Aljin puts the two and two together. He's like, "What? What are you talking?" Looks looks dude up and down. Is like, "Oh, oh, nope, okay." Like not necessarily seen any other Ashari other than Water Ashari. He's sort of like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Well, I'm Aljin, and we're just sort of trying to find some help, see if we can get a group to, or maybe some information. Maybe it's information we need. Is that what we need right now?
Lad,
As
we need
chance were to
Sorry, go ahead.
we're both too nice. Go
Oh no, it was literally Ciaran just saying, "Lad, we all need a drink."
ahead. Well, I don't think it is by chance that we meet. You see, I couldn't help but overhear you talking about finding a flower in the desert.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, it's an odd thing, right? How many flowers are actually in the desert? I mean, cacti, I guess, have flowers, but yeah, I think that's what we're looking for. It's sort of, yeah, that's. Do you know anything? And he sort of like looks over at Trix. He's like, "Oh, hello," because I'm guessing it's like this little half semicircle, and Trixie's just sitting there like quietly.
Yeah, not a Water Ashari.
What kind of Ashari are you? I've never seen one like that. I've never seen, you know, what kind of Ashari are you?
Tree?
You're just confused. Aljin's very confused, like thinking of what Ashari tree Ashari are.
I think
There you go.
Ciaran would like look them up and down, and would you be able to make like an insight check maybe?
Who you?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
See how he sizes this person up. With the 12, basically like seeing if he like naturally is able to like pick up on that like fey, elven type features or not.
The 12. I think you said Trixie does have the obvious fey look. But that was this description. Of
Yeah,
Trixie.
the ears are significantly longer than a regular elf's.
I'd say whatever.
Yeah.
Like the skin's not quite the right texture. Like there's a lot of like weird fey stuff going on with Trixie.
I think Ciaran will look at you and be just like, "Well, I'm not sure if running across you here is seemly or unseemly, if you catch me drift."
Trixie makes a very strange face, just presses her lips together and looks at Ciaran just like, puns. Great.
As these two are arguing, I think Aljin's gonna look at Dudu and be like, not arguing, but like this little banter is be like, you said you might have heard about a flower or something of those type?
Well, you see, as many of us as there are those that are on their Aramentes, and I recently came to the Water Ashari, and I've been charged with helping someone out here in the desert. Kind of a weird task for a Water Ashari, but to each their own. I don't think it is by chance that we meet. I think I am supposed to help you.
Oh. I mean, there was one other, I think that was supposed to come from Vestra to do that, but I haven't seen it. We just arrived. I haven't seen anybody. It was kind of a long trip, but I don't know. I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Ciaran?
I think things have been mighty strange and coincidental ever since you started coming around. All I know is I ain't setting foot in that city. And he points over to the towering walls and towers and swinging banners of Huntarot. And I think he looks at you, Ciaran, too, and it'll be like, and he like makes a gesture with like his hand, which would be the same as your hand that you've probably been obscuring, and he says, "If you
Oh.
know what's best for you, you'll probably stay out of that city too." And he, yeah, hard, long gaze at that hand.
Is something wrong with your hands?
Aljin pulls his sleeve down. No, no. I think at this point, being up close against him, you see like the little bit of sunken eyes, dark circles. Like he looks exhausted at this point. He looks, a little more than travel worn. Looks a little bit beat up.
Are you sure you don't want to go into the city? You could at least find like an inn or something.
No, I think we should get going. We probably should get moving. I mean, you guys were heading out, right? When we were, or were you come into the outpost?
We were leaving the city for a mission.
Oh yeah? What kind? What type? Is it... What's going on? I thought we probably shouldn't get sidetracked. We need to find, right, Ciaran?
I'm kind of following in your footsteps in the desert here. It's better to walk single file to hide your numbers.
We need to go to the desert. If you're heading that way, that's, I guess at this point 4 is better than 2 on both occasions. I guess we can start walking out, maybe catch up, find out what you guys are doing, see if we can sort of make this work on both fronts.
There is safety in numbers, yeah. What do you think, Trixie? Should we join up, at least for now?
More eyes can't hurt a search.
Okay, I think... Oh, go ahead.
Well, then it's settled. We'll join you on your quest for now, and go where the work takes us, I suppose.
Okay. I think at this point, Trixie, you were sort of given a generalized location of this. I would say as you guys are leaving the city, and the mountains, the western mountains are you're heading that way. There is a trail of a trade trail that sort of goes out and around and goes up that way. You know that you need to be heading in that sort of direction toward those mountains. At this point in the day, you'll be getting there. If you walk briskly, you can get sort of to the range right before nightfall, and maybe there's a possibility of finding somewhere to stay or pushing through to find the location that you were given for your specific mission of helping out the cigar bearers. So we can you guys want to do a walk and talk on that point, trying to get everybody on the same page. I would probably ask for at least, let's do one survival check to sort of get everybody navigated to the one location, to the location that you guys are heading out toward the desert. I'll have one
I'll
of you
assist someone
three.
in doing the survival check.
All right, I'll have one of probably you 3 doing it. Aljin's not looking too good on that point.
Yeah, I think Ciaran is he is pretty proficient in survival, but he is not offering to step forward and do it very, very pointedly, even though he is probably the most familiar with this area.
Oh, that's a good point.
I think Dudu would probably kind of step forward. They're an explorer at heart, so yeah, we'll go ahead and try.
I use the help action.
Nice. So take that at advantage.
shitty rolls on both end. 14.
14. Okay. You guys start heading. The team starts heading that way, toward that. I think Aljin will go up to Dudu and just sort of, mm, yeah, just sort of have a pointed conversation about, we're on your Aramente. That means you're gonna get. Is that for leadership or is that for trying to just do, what's your Aramente getting you to at the end?
I believe in the completion of my Aramente, I will be named the leader of Terra when the time comes.
Ciaran just like snorts like.
Snorts at.
Yeah, that
your
comment.
statement?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
I will be named the Heart of the Mountain by my people. Should I complete these trials?
Long sort of Aljin as he sort of oh yeah, I see, being there for your people. That's very noble. It's good. He sort of looks at Ciaran and just looks at him and sort of looks down, messes with his hand a little bit. In his left hand, there's, as he messes with it, I think you would see he pulls his sleeve up and pulls it back down. The red streak that has gone up his arm, that he's trying to conceal as well as much as possible.
The weight of responsibility hangs heavy on everyone, and we may shed that mantle should we want, or don it with pride. Every person's journey is different, and whatever a path in life, it is always noble, no matter where you go, so long as you are taking steps forward and your path is your own.
Wow.
I think it's Ciaran, he doesn't visibly react to that, but it definitely he has a little eye twitch, and you see he's definitely the one that looks away and down this time. And he says, well, it just seems like they're giving out that titles to all the babes nowadays. But
Oh, you don't have one?
nay.
Oh.
And that is assuming that I survive the trials. There are those that don't. It's not exactly easy.
Yeah, I think here and then he says, I always wanted to try a little bit of that Allure root tea myself. Heard it gives quite a kick.
That it does. Quite a kick indeed. And the taste is, well, you might consider it earthy.
Root tea?
That gets him a chuckle.
It's completely lost on Trixie.
Yeah, Aljin also has no clue what that means.
Root tea? You make tea out of roots?
Yes, it sets you on a sort of a vision quest. And there are people that die in their consumption of this tea.
Doesn't sound like very good tea.
Sounds like the best tea.
It's an acquired taste.
I'm imagining it definitely tastes like straight like
Well,
Underberg
one more thing
Angostura
that I
bitters.
won't have to spend money on.
Why are you out here, Trixie? What is your mission that you're on? You made a comment about trying to do something.
Excellent question. Hold my bow.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. And then she just jumps down a dune and just rolls to the bottom.
Oh, okay. Oh, are we supposed to do that? Dude, it is on the path like of where we're going, of where the team's heading. It's very confusing. Is that how you get down dunes?
That looks like fun, and then Dudu would actually do it as well.
Amazing.
Throw my bow first.
Yeah, Aljin, who I might have to roll for that. Aljin, okay, throw your bow. And I'm gonna have to roll athletics check to see if this even works. Oh boy, and how far it goes. You might be coming up. It's at disadvantage. He has a 0, so he goes, all right, and he throws it, and it poof, sticks in like the dune, like 3 feet from him. He's like, oh, hold on. He pulls his staff out, and he like gets down a little bit and picks it up. He's like, okay, here, and throws it, and it hits like again and slides a little bit. He's like, oh, hold on, and he's using his staff to get down the dune slowly, picking up and trying to throw it to you, but it keeps hitting about 3 or 4 feet in front of him and sliding. And he finally gets to the end, and he just hands it. He goes, there you go. That was less fun than the sliding. It seemed.
Well, you can always go up to the top and try again.
I don't know if I want to do that. You see, he's sweating fully out of breath. Like,
Fair enough. And then just turns around and continues on.
okay.
I think Kieran's like, oh, what I wouldn't give for a wave sail from back home. Or a sky sail. Well, we could glide across these dunes, no problem. Oh well.
Oh well. Oh well. So at this point, walking through with Trixie kind of dodging questions. It sounds like, you know, with the mount. Oh, how is it? I gotta think of how sun sets on Exandria. Sunset in the west or east?
I think it follows the same. We'll assume
Standards.
same rotations patterns. I mean, it's a flat Earth Exandria anyway, so.
It's a cube. It's just a cube, a gleaming cube. As the sun, you guys notice on the horizon starts to set, you guys are getting to the bottom of the mountains. Trixie, you know that the sort of the coordinates that you were given from a contact, your contact, told him that it was going to be between two like mountain ridges that narrow in. It's off the beaten path, and I'd say you would give me a perception check to see if you can spot those. 17. Yeah, with that, you notice that it's a little bit off, like where you see the tracks of the carts, and I guess not horses, it would be camels or something similar along those paths. Where you see the carts of the trade route sort of wrapping around that side of the mountains, and it's sort of more narrow than you expected. It would be hard for a cart to get through, but you see like the two ridges sort of like start wide at the top and start narrowing down, and it seems like that would be where you guys would be heading. If you kept walking, you can get there about the same time sunset hits, and then go from there, I guess. Or if you want to stop and make camp, I mean, wherever you guys want to do at this point. But you do see a rough, description. From the description you received, it's probable that matches.
All right, I think we're getting close. Is everyone feeling like pushing towards destination?
1 second. Aljin, get another top off of that water, laddie. And he points over down to your decanter.
Mm-hmm. He shakes a little bit, and you see it fill up, or you hear like water running in it, and he like sort of takes a swig and does it again, and then like pass it. Does anybody need any water here? Anybody need anything? I mean, we have plenty.
I might need some, yes, actually.
Okay. Either way, we can push straight that way, or I think I'm fine. He looks just a little worse for wear, but seems to be determined to try to do what you guys want.
I have a bit of pep in me. I could push forward. I have no objection.
I think. Keep going. 1 second, laddie. And as he's like off aside with you, Aljin, like a kind of positions where we're like just like around the side of a dune. He's like, I'll tie this real quick, lad. And he pulls you aside. Yeah, he pulls you aside. And he's like, has it spread any more since the first night we left Jigao?
Ajin sort of looks back at the other two and pulls his sleeve up and goes, I don't think so. It seems like that first night was the only night so far that it spread. Like I said, he pulls it up and you see it coming up from his thumb where the dot began is now spraying up almost to his wrist. And he's like, no, it's okay. I think I'm fine. I mean, at least the travel here wasn't too bad. We had that rest in Jigao before we came here, so we should be okay. How about
Ciaran's all good.
Yeah,
you see Ciaran checks himself, and he looks, and he's like, there's that like little red dot, like that rash that like, cause it like been blooming like mostly across his chest. Like you first mistaken it for like a big tattoo, but now it's like down just more like at the center of this like a small dot with like just like a few protruding veins, and he says, whatever you did that one night, I staved it off for now. I can feel the pulse, like the pull of the tides. I think Ruidus will be in the night sky soon. You happen to bring us closer to ruin, laddie.
Do you know? I know from Morgen, this sort of sets. It seems like it set creatures crazy. This whatever it is. Do you know any more about it? Do you know? It seems like you had it for a little bit before we.
Yeah, it was a substance. They called it ruidium. Some red cloaked fellows that I had run into when I worked in the city. They worked out of the bar,
so
something. The first something,
like
yeah.
The moon? Like the Rudis moon?
You seem to be blessed by the moon after all.
It's weird. Does it?
That's what they call it.
When it spread, I'm a little more tired than I normally am.
It's enough to drive a man, any person. Over time, it wears you down. It's your anger builds up. You lash out. You feel a despair, a rage. It courses through you. You can feel it like hot iron in your veins. And it seems whenever the moon flares, that's when it spread as much as it did last time. A couple weeks ago and a week ago or so in Jigao, or in Bazazan where I was, it bloomed over the area. And that's when I think I was in my darkest throes at the Hythenos estate. He had been wrapped up in people as well. There's expeditions in the city underneath. They always said Marquet, Ancrel, it was the jewel, there was the oasis, the water. They never knew where it came from. I explored it and down deep. The one group, they not the Cobalt Soul. It's the Legions of wanking off or something. Of all I know, they delved down in there, but they found something. They brought back these red minerals, but someone else managed to go somewhere else down there, and they brought back a raw vein. And that's when the corruption and the madness started to spread. I don't know what it is, laddie. It scares the shite out of me. It's make an insight check, Aljin. Sorry. DM roll took over. It definitely you definitely hear Ciaran like kind of pause for like a second. Oh. Well, internet cut out. That's not good. Well, we're going to pause this recording here, and we will pick that up later.